Trivago is for weird people who like discounts. If you're driving through upstate New York at 4:30 a.m. in the morning and definitely don't want your loved ones knowing, download the Trivago app and figure your ass out now. You shouldn't be abandoning your family again and lying to them saying you're building churches. That's completely unhinged. You need help. Listen, your family loves you. Who knows how long they can tolerate this behavior? So please go home now after using Trivago.
This is the first thing I remember from this episode.
Yes.
David talking about how he lives in a trailer parked outside of his dad's house. And I want your read on it. This is an interesting twist on the backstory because
I'll say.
it's not, what's the word, sympathetic? I am not as sympathetic to him and his story as I normally am white people's backstories.
I was wondering if you would feel sympathetic or not.
I didn't feel like shut the fuck up, but I was a bit like,
It's very cringe. Why are you telling us this? It's a theme where we go the first few episodes and then they unveil a story. It is
Yes.
not necessary to...
Totally with you.
Yeah.
How did this conversation start? He's like, what's your living situation? People are poor. It sucks. Okay. Housing is very scarce. But I'm like, okay, you're a stunt man. Like, what's the deal?
He's a very insecure man who takes anabolic steroids.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. This is crazy, I guess, in this day and age, but $1 million is not actually, I don't think, going to fix your situation. Like, it'll obviously help.
We all have different parts of us.
Yeah.
And his child part is driving all of his behavior, it seems.
Yeah.
And is it really surprising that he lives in a trailer in front of his dad's house? Less surprising than him saying it?
Is it like the kind of thing that maybe like if you're a struggling actor, that's what you end up doing? I don't know though. It seems like it's a very specific thing. Can we talk about Say and Mary?
For sure.
How do you feel about this, like the mutual respect? They're chasing each other through the jungle, having a good time with it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this vibe?
I feel this is an iconic TV rivalry. Mary has Riz.
She does.
Loving what she's doing. Stockholm syndrome a little bit with her captor, Sai. And Mary knows what she's doing. She's sticking to the bit.
I do like that Mary is like, this is weird and fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're like, these guys are running through the jungle like this is weird as hell. I don't know if Sai sees it as, or Say sees it as silly. She's like, this is my life's work, is chasing Mary.
Sai seems like she wants Mary out more than she's wants to win, or more than anything in her life.
Ciao, this is Luigi of Luigi Pisa. I'm so sad my son Giustino lost the survival, but we love pizza la Luigi's. So anytime you come to us and buy one medium pizza during the airing of a survival, you get 2 free of chalci calzone alla mozzarella and 1 big bowl of gabagool for you and the family. Mille grazie e ciao Sicily.
I would hate this challenge for so many reasons. Like, where do you want to be in this challenge if you're in it? Like, you want to be the calling person? You want to be the blindfold person? Like, where do you want to be?
The calling person.
Yeah. Like, just yelling at someone and watching them, like, not understand you and, like, smash their face into pools.
You're going to get embarrassed regardless.
People are smashing their heads into things. Just like, I don't. Like, you can't see anything and then you smash your head into something. I would just be so, like, upset at the end. I'd be so angry. I'd be like, why didn't you help me? I hit my head so many times.
That's a stressful challenge for sure.
Yeah. Very, very stressful challenge. So after the challenge, so Green loses again, right? And we have seen this story many times now.
Many.
Like one team just gets pummeled.
They objectively had a weak tribe.
They also got rid of like some sort of like physically strong seeming players the first two episodes. I also feel like there's something to like they never really get a chance to have because they talked about it in this episode about like teamwork and like working as a team. And it's like they can't really work as a team because they're constantly having to vote each other out. So like they're like right from the beginning, they're already like frayed. And none of the other teams have to do that. Like they just build their team in for each challenge. Their team gets stronger and stronger. Whereas the team that's losing is just like they're not working together. Like, how are they going to build a team at this point when there's four people and they have to vote one of them off?
Like what goes into constructing a tribe?
I wonder if it's because they were the only ones that had green clothes in their closet. Like maybe someone, like, 'cause, like if they're like, oh, this guy should be on the purple team, but there's not a single piece of purple clothing for him to wear because they have to bring their own clothes. But the ones that end up going to the merge are like grizzled vets, they're like so sharpened. Don't trust anybody. They're not like we're a happy family. They like know how to do tribal council. They're trained.
Yep.
And the happy family teams go into the merge and yeah, they have numbers, but they don't have
They have a story.
yeah, they have a story exactly. So yeah, I mean, if you can make it through, and this is why Mary was one of my picks, or was my pick last time. It was like if she can make it through, I see that trajectory of that player that like starts on the shitty team. If you can make it through, even if you're the bottom, if you can make it through, you can fly under the radar for a bit at the merge, arise like a phoenix from the ashes. Also, I bet she's good at those challenges where you just have to like stand still.
And here's another word from our sponsor. Have you ever wondered why No Frills can offer groceries at such an affordable price? It's because of you, you cheap ass. As long as there's people who are constantly trying to get things for less and complaining about it, then we'll exist. We get the exact same stuff as Loblaws, but they just charge more. What do you think, they're fucking idiots? No, they target people who just spend more and aren't cheap. So thank you for being cheap, because I know I am.
I was just staring at TikTok this whole time.
Do you love TikTok?
I don't love it, but I do have an addiction to it, if that's what
Mm-hmm.
you're wondering. I should probably get rid of it. I deleted Instagram recently, and that was smart. I'm like, I deleted it off my phone.
Very smart.
Um, yeah, because I can get into some scrolling. And the thing about Instagram scrolling is it's like actually very fucking bad.
Yep.
And
Yep, it
I
is.
was getting the weirdest shit. I will say of TikTok, like I don't know if this is better or worse. It gives me more stuff that I actually want to watch,
Oh
but
no.
that kind of
Uh-oh.
makes me more, yeah, stuck in it. Like it knows the algorithm is better.
Tell me how it's better.
I don't know, like no matter what I do on Instagram, maybe it's just because the content is more garbage, but like I get like weird like trad wives and like Christian
Bad wives?
stuff. Trad wives.
Th-
You know what trad wives are?
nope.
It's like a feminist movement to, or sorry, like an anti-feminist movement towards like women being subservient. And it's
Love.
like the get ready with me in my morning, like getting my husband ready for work. Like it's fuck.
Ooh.
And like I don't know, just shit that's like people like restocking their Stanley Cup like attachments. It,
Yeah.
on TikTok, I will get like politics clips of like call her daddy, and like clips of like celebrity stuff and clips of politics stuff, which I like actually.
What kind of
Yeah.
politics stuff are we talking?
Well, I mean, now I get Canadian politics stuff because now that's what I'm consuming. But they just like this was like clips of news or people talking about it. But it's on more. It gets what I actually want to see, not just like I accidentally once watched a whole video
Yeah.
of someone with 10 kids and now I get a bunch of 10
Forever.
kids content. So
That's
much 10 kids content.
10 kids content. The singers, you
Mhm.
mean?
I mean, the singers are one of them, Carl.
One
You
of
don't
them.
understand. I
I
get
I
a
don't.
lot of families that have 10 kids, and they're like,
Oh.
this is my morning having 10 kids.
TikTok is listening right now. They've
Yeah.
already inputted your feedback into
They're like, you
They're
love 10 kids.
models.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's discuss whether
Mm,
it's better to lie or not
whoa.
when you come back from a challenge. In this
Yes.
episode, the Yahtzee, either having won an advantage or lost their vote.
Yes. I mean, you start. I am interested in this topic.
Totally. The psychology of it is fascinating. I feel like it depends on your personality and what
Mhm.
your authentic self is. So if you
Yeah.
feel like you can't lie and you're too nervous and it would kill you, stick to your real self. It's maybe too risky. That's how you're going to build trust. If you can pull off a lie, absolutely do it because you don't want to show that you're weaker because you've lost your vote. So I think it's better to do it if you can.
Also
Bianca,
depends on if you won or lost.
of course,
Bianca lost, right?
Bianca lost, made up a story about the what the challenge was, and that got people. Thomas seemed legit
Yeah.
when he was like, "Ooh, you're bad. I didn't realize you were lying."
I mean, her story was better. I mean, my general feeling of it is like
Yeah,
lying about winning or losing seems like fairly low risk. Like it should be easy enough to pull off. But when people lie about what the game is, I feel like they can get themselves into trouble. Like because when there's a merge or a tribe swap or two other people from the tribes go, they always check this information with each other. They always check like what did your person tell you? And
right.
like it will come out, and then it's
Yes,
like you're kind of putting yourself at greater risk because it's like maybe all you did was lose your vote for one tribal, but now you're putting all this like suspicion on you because you lied about it.
yes.
I mean, I get why you lie, and I think Bianca's lie was smart in that she was like, "Do you remember that game from that season?" And they're all super fans, so they're like, "Yeah, yeah, of course." And she's like, "It was that." And it's like she doesn't have to get
I didn't risk it.
into didn't doesn't have to get into a big explanation,
Hmm.
but Justin made up the weirdest thing that like
Bad liar.
didn't really make any sense. It was super unnecessary. Like he should have just described the game as it was and then just slightly tweaked it. He's like, there's white and there's red, and then we don't know. It was just like, luckily his team is not that bright, so it didn't end up being that much of an issue. But like, I was like, that's dumb, man.
Dumb. You're right.
And he's gone now, so never gonna come up.
Very unique situation.
Yeah,
Karma. That
maybe.
was that was the reason he got voted out.
I mean, are we there? Because that's
If you lie, there's three tribes. They're not going to say the same thing. And
no,
so extremely likely the lie will get exposed later because they'll compare notes.
for sure.
Great.
And like if you I mean when Justin lost his vote, like it's pretty bad. Like he's pretty fucked, but
Yeah.
when the person who won, Camilla, that was fine for she I think it was smart for her to just say that she won. She can prove it because she can show the thing and she told everyone and she was like, "My team is just so honest." And I was like, "Well, that's stupid. That's a stupid reason." I think it was smart to just tell the truth. She can prove it
Yeah.
so no one is suspecting her. It's just an extra vote, so it's not like she has an idol. Like it's an advantage, but it's not the kind of advantage she's going to get voted out for. It's actually the kind of advantage that someone would want to work with her for, you know? And that way she doesn't have to fuck around with any lying.
And there's
Yeah.
probably a rift between the traditionalists who would say, this is the new era. There's so many more rules.
Yeah.
There's so much more to expose. So there's the traditionalists probably saying, why? I can't believe that everyone knows everything. No one conceals anything. No one is lying as much.
I think like lying and secrecy are two different things, right? I mean, obviously they're two different things, but like I don't think that you need to lie all the time in this game. I kind of
No.
think it's overdone sometimes. It's like there's lying for no reason a lot of the time, and people get themselves into worse situations. I think it's part of the game to lie sometimes, but like you don't need to lie about every single fucking thing. Like you don't need to lie about your job, you don't need to lie about every single thing that ever happens. But secrecy, I actually think is super valuable and is never wrong. Like
Hmm.
like keeping secret that you have an idol.
Yeah.
Rachel, who won last season, the season that you didn't watch, she kept her idol a secret, um, like way, way long and like really used it effectively.
If
I
you
don't,
can,
if you
without
can,
breaking
totally.
trust.
Yeah. And if it's just you, as soon as you let one person in, like then you're in a situation. But if you can keep it to just you, you're you have the cards. Like as long as you can keep it for just you, you have the cards.
And here's another word from our sponsor. Air Canada is pretty much the only airline you can use in Canada, and we know that. We can do anything we want at any time. That includes charging more for no reason, as well as providing zero customer service when your flight is delayed or rescheduled. Sometimes we actually laugh internally that our solution is $20 vouchers at the airport. We know you'll take it, so download the Air Canada app now because you really, really have to.
So back to after the challenge, Green loses again. They go back, and this is when Mary has her strategy
Yes,
that she's just gonna chill and go for a swim and act like she has an idol. What do you
love it.
think?
Love it.
I thought it was good.
It's good.
Like I thought that it wasn't like killer strategy. It was what she had, and I think it was smart. And she wasn't like, "This is an amazing strategy. I'm gonna fucking kill it with this." She's like, I'd rather do this than try and find an idol. I just don't think I'm gonna find it." And it kind of worked.
Mind games.
Yeah,
She's keeping it real. She
yeah,
knows she's being funny on TV. That's awesome.
yeah. She seems cool as hell on TV,
Cool
and
as
that's all that
hell.
matters.
She's not going to find the idol with this strategy, but the mind games,
Yeah, cut your losses. And she was comfy with the mind games. Like she was having fun with it. So they get to tribal. Okay, we get to tribal. Mary plays her shot in the dark, and she's safe. Amazing. It's always wild when they're safe.
absolutely
It's
electric.
absolutely electric. It's huge.
1 in 6.
1 in 6. And I can only remember someone being safe once before, or maybe twice before.
I maybe twice.
I think twice there was one person, and I don't know who they were, who played it and was safe but didn't need it. Then there was Caleb. That was huge. This was like 2 or 3 seasons ago, and it was like right after the merge, and all the votes were on him. It was like 11 out of 11
Does
votes on
not
him.
count. Does
Yeah,
not count.
it was fucking
It's
amazing.
electric. He jumped up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
that
did
was
Mary.
huge. And so this is the now only the third time we've seen it. It's amazing. We love it.
Yeah.
And then so then they revote, and it makes me crazy because I'm like, okay, so Justin and Cedric wanted to stick together.
Hmm.
Now I see that. All these fuckers had to do
Yeah.
was get Mary to vote with them, and they didn't even try. All they had to do was get Mary to vote with them. She was on the bottom. She absolutely would have. All he had to do was be like, I don't want to get Justin out. We don't have a backup plan if it's not Mary. It's just we know that Say doesn't have
Yep.
an idol, but he didn't want to turn on her. But then was in a position where eventually he did. And Justin, I just don't understand. Like they didn't even try to do the vote, and Justin didn't vote because he lost his vote, but he didn't tell anyone. And again, it's like Justin, do you care about your alliance with Cedric? Because we're gonna find out that you don't have a vote, and it's quite important in this particular round that you don't vote because there's only four of you. So why? I don't know that it was that wise for him to keep that a secret. I
Definitely
mean,
not in this case.
maybe he didn't trust Cedric, but it turned out Cedric was very loyal.
Pizza Boy fumbled this thing.
Yeah, I mean, this wasn't even his worst move. So then it comes down to whatever. Jeff explains the whole math of the whole thing. And it comes down to Cedric is the person who will decide who goes home.
The biggest moment in history of mankind is when Jeff moves from the voting stand back to his little bench.
Yeah, you're right. It is the biggest moment in history. That was the
We
end of
officially
history.
have a deadlock. We're
Yes,
deadlocked. And I
I
think it was
noticed that.
the
He
second
went to his
time
little
he said
bench.
this bench deadlocked.
Hmm.
Jeff is such a pro.
You can tell he's like, I've had a plan for a situation exactly just like this all along, and I'm ready to implement it immediately.
Yeah.
You think that this situation hasn't been thought through? I thought through everything.
Yes. Holy shit.
So he's back at his little bench and he's like, this is history happening right here, deadlocked. And then he explains that I didn't 100% follow. I kind of follow, I guess.
Same.
The only people who when there's a tie, the people who have been voted for don't get to vote. So it's only the people who don't have votes against them who can vote, but Mary can't vote, so it just leaves Cedric.
Yeah. And it feels like didn't even say that, but it's obvious because Cedric was the only one who didn't receive a
Yeah.
vote.
And Cedric was like, I don't know what to do, which confused the fucking hell out of me.
Yeah,
You voted for Say.
you voted for Say. Now that he's out in the open with it, he's having
Yes.
doubts,
But
not
it's like that's what you
decisive.
picked. You 2 seconds ago, you picked Say, and now you're like, "Ugh, who do I pick?" It was so
Well,
weird.
no, but it's because he still didn't know that when he voted Say, he didn't
Mhm.
know that Justin was lying to him.
Oh yeah. Because he just totally missed that there was no vote there. It's just crazy.
And this gets to you watch Traders a little bit.
I've watched season 2.
You watch season two. So at the round table, when
Yeah.
you get accused, if you're a traitor or not a traitor, the I'm so interested in how to defend yourself,
Yeah.
how different people do it.
Hmm.
And in this case, Sai put her sales slacks on, and in her mind, she's like, I'm not going out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say what I need to say right now. And
Yeah.
she did that, convinced him.
Well, Say's case was convincing.
It
She's like,
was.
"Hey, did you
That's
know
the
about
thing.
this? Okay, so you didn't know." But not only was Say's case decent,
Yeah,
Justin didn't make a case.
no case.
And I was literally like, is he quitting? Like that to me felt close to quitting. Like he did not make a case. Say was like, this is why it should be me. She was like, number one, this is why it should be me. I'm loyal. I've done this, blah, blah, blah. And him, didn't he just lie to you? Yes, confirmed. He just lied to you. Okay, I've never lied to you.
Done.
Case. He goes, okay, Justin, what about you? Justin goes, yeah, man, just do what you gotta do. You might as well just quit. He's that to me was a quit. Like he was ready to go home.
You're right. He basically did quit. Whatever you choose to do, do it.
Yeah.
And this is what makes me think it's all about Luigi's. He's
Yeah.
Cedric. You can, no matter what happens, you can come to Luigi's later.
It was almost like Justin saw that this was the end, and he's like, "I promised my dad I would mention Luigi's at least 5 times while I'm on Survivor."
Yeah.
And so he's like,
Survivor.
"Okay, so if you end up choosing me, just you come to Luigi's, and I'll see you at Luigi's, and Luigi's come to Luigi's Pizza."
Yeah, he said it.
Like, it might have had Mel had like the phone number flashing, and then Cedric's
Yeah.
like, "I'm coming to Luigi's," and he's like, "I'll see you at Luigi's."
He played right into it. Cedric, I will see you at Luigi's, dude.
See it. We'll all see you at Luigi's. And then though, just one more twist. So first, so he basically quits there. But then Cedric's reasoning for choosing Say, he goes, "If I'm picking you, you two got to work this thing out." Fucking why?
The stipulation.
Like, okay, you tell me. You have a take on it? You tell me your take.
Of course, it's super fluffy. It shows that he has a heart, and he was alluding to that before. This is
Sure.
supposed to be a team. I'm with you that he's not savvy. He's a dad. He's a butt
He's
doctor.
really being a dad.
He's
Yeah.
it's total fluff. They don't need to act on that. Mary and Sai in the moment are of course going to agree to it,
Of
especially
course.
Sai. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is it like just as a general thing,
Hmm.
like people have their why, right? And
Yep.
then there's like broad categories of whys. Like there's people who have a dream for the money, right? And then there's also people who
Dave
are
needs
like
it to start a family.
to start a, so his girlfriend won't break up with him because he lives in the trailer outside of his dad's house and
Hmm.
things are not that good in the stuntman industry. But there's also a category of like parents who seem like their main motivation is how they will appear to their children on screen. Like they're always like, this is how I want to appear to my children on screen. And I think that that, of course, makes sense within a certain context. Like, I don't want my kids to see me like lying and cheating. But sometimes I think people are like a bit too focused on that. Everything they're doing, they're like playing to the audience of their children. You kids better start getting along. And I'm like, that actually makes no sense in the game of Survivor. Like, that really felt like he was playing to his children. And he had a few scenes this episode where I'm like, this makes no sense. Like, what you're saying, like, mathematically doesn't make sense, but you're doing it anyway because you're like, you're being loyal. You don't want to be backstabbing anyone. And then, like, when you did decide to backstab Justin, it was like he kind of gave you permission, and you were like, "I'll only choose you if you change your attitude." Maybe that's my theory.
People consider the optics.
There are a few who are like that, who are very like, "I just want my kids to see me, blah blah blah." And it's not as exciting a why as someone who's in it for the money. Someone who's in it for the money and has kids, that's a good one. That person is driven. But, you know, oh, I had a successful I'm already a successful doctor. I'm really just here for an adventure and to show my kids, blah blah blah. Meh, boring.
Meh. You better play a fun ass game.
You better
You
play a fun ass
better
game.
pull a Riz.
So that's what happened. We sent Justin home to Luigi's. RIP to your number one pick to win.
So this is pretty funny. I didn't record the final 40 minutes of our conversation, and so this podcast actually ends now. Before leaving, I'll summarize and say that we both now think Bianca is going to win, and we also asked ourselves the question, if a tiger was loose at camp, who would die first? Gabrielle thought that would be Cedric, and I thought it would be him as well, so look at that. Hope you enjoyed the incredible dialogue and word from our very real sponsors, because we certainly did. A ciao.
Respect the goats.